Hi everyone, in this section we are going to talk about quadratic functions. Our main focus will be the vertex form of a quadratic function and how to graph a quadratic function. So in the past, you probably have seen the standard form, which is f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. This is called the standard form of the quadratic function, where a is a constant that is different from 0, and b and c are constants as well. Now, the vertex form, which is our main focus, will be the form f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Now, first of all, I want you to notice that the a in the standard form and the a in the vertex form are the same number. Now, h, k are constants. Together, they form the vertex. So if you write an order pair with h being the x coordinate and k being the y coordinate, then hk is the vertex point of the parabola. Okay, so let's look at a few facts. The graph of a quadratic function is always a parabola, but a parabola can open upward or downward, and that all depends on the value a. If a, the constant a, which we mentioned earlier up here, is a positive number, then you should expect the parabola to open upward. And with the parabola being open upward, we should have a minimum value. The vertex would be at the bottom. And this point is the point hk. And then we say that the minimum value of the function is equal to k at x is equal to h. And then if a is a negative number, then you should expect the parabola to open downward with the vertex being at the top. And that would be the maximum value. And we will write the maximum value of the function is k at x is equal to h. And then we have the equation x is equal to h. Notice that this is the equation of a line, of a vertical line to be specific. Equation of a vertical line. Now this vertical line is special. X equals to h is called the axis of symmetry. So it is a vertical line that defines the middle of the parabola. So let's look at this example. Given f of x is equal to negative 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 8. Let's first determine a, h, and k. I'm going to rewrite the vertex formula right below this. And a would be negative 2, h would be 1, and k would be 8. Now, does the graph open upward or downward? To determine that, you look at a. Since a is negative 2, which is a negative number, we should expect the graph to open downward. Identify the vertex. The vertex is the point hk. And h is 1, k is 8, so the point 1, 8 would be the vertex. C, find the x-intercepts. To find the x-intercepts, you would let the function equal 0. So we're looking at negative 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 8 is equal to 0. To solve this equation, first we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So you have negative 2 times x minus 1 squared is equal to negative 8. Then divide both sides by negative 2. That will give us x minus 1 squared is equal to positive 4. And then we can take the square root of both sides here. Now notice that when you take the square root, you should end up with a positive and a negative value. So The square root and the square would cancel. We're left with x minus 1 is equal to square root of 4 is 2. But that's just one possibility. We could also have x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. Solve each of these equations. We get x is equal to 3 here, or x is equal to negative 1 here. So the x-intercepts, which are points, so they should be written in order pair forms. So they are 3, 0, and negative 1, 0. Now we find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, there should only be one y-intercept. We will let x be 0. So negative 2 times 0 minus 1 squared plus 8. Simplify this. You get negative 2 times, this will give you negative 1 squared. And following the order of operations, you should do exponents first. So this will give you positive 1. And then times negative 2. So that will give us negative 2 plus 8, which is 6. Y-intercept is a point also, so we should write it in order pair form, which would be 0, 6. Now we are going to sketch the function using all the information that we just obtained from A through E. So we know the graph is going to open downward. Let's try to plot the vertex first. The point 1, 8 is going to be this point right here. The x-intercepts are 3, 0 and negative 1, 0. That will be these points. The y-intercept is the point 0, 6. That will be this point. And very important, you graph the axis of symmetry. Remember, axis of symmetry is the line defined by x is equal to h. In our case, h is 1, so x is equal to 1. And the graph of that is going to be a vertical line. This vertical line here will determine the center of the parabola. And with that being the center, we are going to put another point here, which is symmetric to the point 0, 6 on the other side, and connect these dots, and that will give us the graph of the function, which is a downward parabola, just as we predicted. Part F, axis of symmetry, which we answered earlier, so it's the equation x is equal to 1. Part G, determine the max or min value of f. There's going to be a maximum because the parabola opens downward, so there is a peak point here. The max value of the function at that point is 8, and at x is equal to 1. Domain and range. So the domain for the function here would be negative infinity to positive infinity. It goes forever to the left and also forever to the right. So all real numbers. In fact, this will be the domain for all quadratic functions. It's always going to be all real numbers. The range, the lowest point, the arrows go down forever to negative infinity, and then the highest peak that it can get is the value 8. So the range should be negative infinity to positive 8 with the bracket. Just a little word of caution. If your function were to be negative 2x plus 1 squared minus 8, then be very careful when you determine h and k. Now let's write the vertex form right underneath the function. It is in the vertex form, but all the signs don't quite match, especially for h and k. So to rewrite that, we can do negative 2. Here is x minus h, so we can write x minus a negative 1, because that will make it x plus 1. And then plus k, which we can write plus a negative 8, and that is equivalent to minus 8. So in this case, a would be negative 2, h is negative 1, and k is negative 8.